everybody, this is the Wikstrand. So the movie of today is Hocus Pocus 2, and I was very late when it came to watching the original movie. It took to 2021 before I saw it the first time, and I was surprised on how surprisingly good it was. It wasn't an amazing comedy or anything like that, but far better than it had any right to be, in my opinion. This was already when they had decided to make a sequel to the whole thing, which I thought was a dumb idea, because what are you going to do? Do the same thing all over again? I thought to myself. And I kind of got why they did it, because now it has sort of become a part of your nostalgic 90s things, and you could sign all three main characters again, so it sort of makes sense. But I went into this movie with very low expectations, and most of the things I feared that they were going to do, they actually did. But it wasn't a terrible movie. It was just a little bit, a shoulder shrug. Let's find out what this movie is about, shall we? This is Hocus Pocus 2. Years have passed since the sisters came to Salem the last time and wreaked havoc, and we're now having Halloween coming up once again, and we're having three friends. Actually, they are not three anymore, there are only two of them, because the third one kind of hangs out with the cool kids now and have, stopped, their little pack they had, because the two remaining friends, dabbles a little bit with the occult and witchcraft, and not that they're witches or anything like that, but they're sort of trying things, discovering things, and they're being mocked for it by the local jock and stuff like that. But they're still going to try to have a good time and celebrate her birthday. But the celebration of the birthday, it also involves them lighting the black candle, which we all know, if we've seen the original one, summons the three sisters. You see, the sisters, they have bonus quests this time. Not only are they going to, wreak havoc and, take the revenge out on Salem for what they did to them, 300 years ago, they are also going to get, potions and ingredients and stuff like that for a spell that will make them invincible and, turn them into, super villains or something like that. They also find out that the descendant of the religious zealot that originally condemned them to death for, all of those murders that they committed, which they, in this movie, sort of glosses over that actually happened. But, we're going to just ignore that thing, but it's fine. But when they find out that he's the mayor of this town, he also has a pretty funny arc where he's desperately trying to get some candied apples. That was actually quite kind of hilarious. They also think that they're going to kill him first, to get some proper revenge. We actually have some flashbacks to the original things that happened in the Pilgrim Age when, the sisters met and they got their powers and all of those things. Because then, the forefather of the now mayor of Salem, he is just hamming it up so much, and he is just such a joy to watch, and he was my favorite part of the entire movie, especially his 16th century version, but also the version of today was kind of funny. It's weird that he is actually the most memorable character in the entire movie, because, to be frank, the three witches aren't as fun as they were the last time. Bette Midler still overacts, but it is not nearly as enjoyable and not nearly as entertaining as the last time they did it. And Sarah Jessica Parker is still a dim-witted bimbo, but she's not as fun as she once was, and not quite as dim-witted, and only about half as charming, whimsical, or funny as she was the last time. So we're basically recycling this story once again, as the sister doesn't know what modern stuff is and walking around. And that was very funny in the first movie, but here it's just kind of lame. I liked the lookalike contest, that was fun, but otherwise from there, this is just a lesser version of the first movie. And these sort of human characters, the normal characters that we're supposed to follow and supposed to be rooting for, is about as bland and about as boring as the 93 versions were. So we don't have any help from them either. One thing that struck me was the fact that there was a lot of singing in this movie, which makes me think that one of the original pitches for this movie probably was that this was going to be an all-out musical. Now, they don't have enough musical numbers to actually make this into a complete musical, but I can really see them, you know, taking this one as a Broadway musical if it hasn't happened already. So maybe that's what they're going to do if they make another sequel to this, which thank God they hopefully will not do, but I don't know. Maybe this movie was so successful that they think that, you know, people want to see this recycled even more times, but we'll see where it goes. The slightly schizophrenic and quite sketchy ending to this movie made me think about some really bad WWE booking, and now I'm going to have to compare the ending to this one to wrestling, and this is going to make about 98% of everybody who's watching this go, huh? But let's hear me out for a second. So you have your valiant babyface and your dastardly heel, and now the babyface hits the heel with his finisher, but the heel kicks out. So they wrestle some more. Now you're thinking, are they gonna put over the heel in this match? But no, the babyface makes a less impactful move and pins and wins the whole thing. So why didn't he win with his fucking finisher? Jesus Christ! The finish was not very good, and it leaves open for maybe they're gonna do another movie, which made me go a little bit ugh. Because nowadays, whenever I see something that indicates that there is going to be more of this, I mostly groan. There is very, very rarely that I get excited for the announcement of a sequel. In the end, Hocus Pocus 2 is a pretty uneventful and pretty standard comedy sequel. It's not as funny as the last time, it's not as clever or not as creative as the last time, and when you've finished watching it, you're thinking to yourself, I could just have seen the original and I would have been more happy about it, because I don't really recommend this movie. It isn't bad, it's just a little lame and a little bit underwhelming. And if you have never seen the original, I would really recommend you to see it, because it is really funny, it's really creative, and it has a couple of really good jokes. This one hasn't. There are few and far in between, but the flashback sequences was by far the best of the bunch. Am I glad that they did a sequel to it? I don't know. The original cast seems to enjoy themselves a whole lot, and well, maybe I can be happy for them at least. If nothing else, this movie proved how little Mary Sanderson, aka Kathy Najimy, meant for the rest of the movie, because she was the one of the Sanderson sisters that I really think could have been either recast or they could have created an entirely new character surrounding her. But I guess they wanted to have the original cast. But this is still one thing that really puzzles me. How could they not have made her character to stand out more, to have a bit more character to herself? But what you going to do? So I give Hocus Pocus 2 31 points. It is a totally decent comedy with some okay entertainment, some decent laughs and a fun thing or two. But the movie is by and large pretty uneventful, and I didn't really care that much about it. So do you think that Hocus Pocus 2 is a worthy successor to the first movie? Comment below and I'll see you next time for so-and-so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.